when people play gambling.
Okay, well,
I watch.
You
Right.
might just I don't know, get in a little bit. Welcome back to the 2014 Standard of Living Community Awards. This is Bilal, you're on Urban Scope X. I happen to have the wonderful couple of Allison Seymour and her husband Marc Clarke. Allison Seymour of Fox 5 fame, and Marc Clarke. Marc, you go back to 92Q,
and what else?
WHUR.
And Sirius XM now. Yeah.
That's a lot. I mean, you're only doing one thing, and he's got like 3 or 4 things. Welcome. Thank you for coming onto the set of Urban Scope X. Please tell us, what does it mean to you to be honored in the community?
Right. I thought about this a lot. In the couple of the days leading up to this event.
You knew I was going to ask you the question.
Well, my thought is that when you start in this business, I've been in the business for about 20 years now, in front of the camera. All told, like 25 years since I graduated from Hampton. And it's the things that they don't tell you when you look for that first job, that you'll be doing a lot of community work. It has been such a joy and an honor, really, throughout my journey in broadcasting, but especially here in the DMV, because this is where I'm from. So to be able to come and talk to students, and then one day talk to leaders in Prince George's County, Montgomery County, DC, it's surreal. So to be, I guess, honored for that work, it just feels like the cherry on top of the sundae for me. It's amazing.
And here, you necessarily don't have to feel as less pressured on the air when that red light comes on, because the setting here is quite comfortable.
Right.
You know, it's almost like you may see your uncle or your aunt or a family member over in the corner somewhere, and they've done a real good job here at Capitol Cadillac.
Right.
Please tell us again for our viewers, how did you get started? Where did all this?
Wow.
I'll get to you, Marc.
Yeah. You know, it really started when I was really small, little. And I was watching TV, and I tell this story all the time. I was watching a TV show at my grandparents' house in Charleston, South Carolina, and one of these commercials came on when the anchors looked like one big happy family, and they were out in the community. True story, they were out and they were talking to people, and I thought, that looks like so much fun. So I had no idea the serious part of it, but I thought I want to do that one day. And then fast forward to high school, and before I went to college, I thought, it was my mom too. She said, you'd be really good as a reporter. She's like, I just think you'd be good as a reporter. And so it just sort of stuck in my head. I don't even think she knew that story about when I was young and saw that commercial on TV for this news team. But the passion and the interest married with the real desire to be an agent of change, that's kind of come cliche now, but to be that agent of change and to spread truthful information to the community at large, but if I'm honest, completely to our community, and to be a role model in any small way to another girl who looks like me,
right.
Because there were no black people in that commercial in Charleston, by the way, but for some reason I could see myself doing that. And so that's how it started, and it's just amazing. I'm blessed and privileged to have been in the business this long.
And it's important because what you just said, you mentioned honesty, you mentioned also about being truthful, and those are things that we grow accustomed to wanting to hear more from, anchors in the city. I grew up watching Jim Vance.
Yeah.
And now...
So did I.
Right.
Right.
And now you are the female comparison for me watching him, because you do come across a lot more comforting, a lot more as if I'm watching my sister on TV.
Right.
I'm like, I'm going to try. Hey.
You are.
Yes, I am.
You are.
Yes.
You are. And I have been able to find my voice here in this market because I feel a connection to the people who watch. And I decided years ago, I have to try to bring some of Allison, who that person is, off camera into what I do. And I think that it has connected with people.
Yes.
I think it has. I hope it has.
To ask Allison, yes.
I hope it has.
Yeah. And it's a blessing also to report or to anchor and do what you do where you're from.
It's everything.
Right.
It's everything.
Yeah.
It is like going to, we take our daughter to Jones Hayward, which is a dance school right on Georgia Avenue, Georgia and Delafield. I pass my first home in DC every time I do that, and I don't pass it without thinking that's where I'm from.
Right. Yeah.
And so it's amazing. You know, that's the only word to describe it.
No doubt. I love the energy. I love this connection here that you two have. So let's talk about this marriage. Not only the marriage and broadcast, but the one thing that's kept you two together. How did you two meet? And I'll let Mark answer that.
we met
the job.
on Allison's first day. I was working in St. Louis. I was covering a concert Lilith Fair. And Allison, it was her first day.
Yep.
I saw this fine sister roll through. I've been in the market for like 6 years, so I knew all the fine sisters on TV.
You had already rolled through them.
No, I did
Now
not.
that's what
No,
I'm
wait a
saying.
minute. Okay. I see her. I walked up. I introduced myself. I gave her my card. I said, welcome.
She was like, really?
Yeah. She was like, whatever. And, I gave her my card. And then, my friend was putting together an event, the 100 Black Men, event for 100 Black Men. And she said, okay, Mark, I'm going to have you co-host, and I think I'm going to ask that new anchor, Allison Seymour, if she'd like to do it. And I'm like, yes, call her, and so make it happen. And so she did make it happen. And Allison and I hosted 100 Black Men's event. And that's when we first hung out.
That's when we knew. We were sitting at the table
together,
and there was another couple, and their energy was what I wanted in a marriage. And Mark just sort of was that other piece. It was really sort of it was weird, right?
Yeah.
And that night, I'll tell the story. That night, I'm like, I'm going to marry him. It's true. In my mind, I'm like,
the women choose.
Right.
The women choose.
I choose
The
you.
women choose, okay?
Right.
I'm telling you. It's not us. The women choose.
Now, at that moment, my thought was, man, I got to get my game up. I didn't have everything in order.
Don't
She
tell
was
the
probably
whole
like, look, you just need to learn how to cook. No.
Right.
And so.
Well, and that's a funny story that you would say that, because my fridge was bare. I worked nights then, my fridge had what in it? Like, I don't even know. It was terrible because I had moved. That was my fourth move in 5 years to St. Louis, because in the business, you just move.
Right.
So Mark saw that and was like, oh no, and stocked my fridge.
Indeed.
I'm like,
way to go, bro.
Yeah.
Well, you can see.
Do you remember that story? Did you remember that?
No, I
Yeah,
don't
you
remember
did.
that.
Yeah.
Well, because also, see, what throws me off is I remember you used to cook for me a lot back then, too.
I went to the grocery store, got the meal, and that's it. There was nothing else in the fridge.
Right.
And so, I think we had that energy, that connection, and once we locked in, we've been together since then.
It was very quick.
She was off on Monday and Tuesday nights, and so we started just getting together every Monday, Tuesday night. And I think we did that all the way up until we got engaged, which was
like 4 months later.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it was very quick. Yeah, it was very quick.
And then I think the other piece, the story that I think is interesting about Destiny, when we got engaged, since we both had moved to different cities for our jobs, we had the conversation that, hey, well, whoever gets the opportunity next, the other person will follow. And that was a stroke of genius, because we had that conversation, got engaged, went on vacation, and when we got back, Allison had the offer in D.C.
I was only in St. Louis for 1 year.
Wow.
And came back, And Mark
so
followed
she
me
gets a gig.
back. Yeah.
I follow her out here without a job, and then land the biggest job of my career.
And let's talk a little bit about that, because I know we have more things to do, or you guys have more things to do. So, Mark, XM Sirius, WHUR.
Yeah.
WHUR, definitely. I grew up listening to Jerry Phillips, who else? Kojo Namdi, all those guys, when I was growing up. So what are you doing to make a difference at HUR, XM Sirius? How do we get in tune to you?
Well, I think, I'm on WHUR Saturday nights, 8 to midnight, the Hang Suite. I'm also on Sirius XM, which is HUR Voices, which is another, it's connected to WHUR, 8 to midnight, Monday, weekdays. And also, I have a couple podcasts that I'm doing that really represent the future, I think, of radio. I'm on iHeartRadio. Show's called Mark Clarke on the Mark. That's available at iHeartRadio. And also, you can go to marksgreentruck.com, which it has everything there.
Scrolling across the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. Everything. marksgreentruck.com. More importantly, on your phone, any phone system, get the Mark Clarke app. MarkClarke. Get that, and that ties you to everything I'm doing. Because I think that, the blessing was being in radio for over 25 years. I was there in the old days, and the new days, is really the podcast. So
I think, if I can brag on Marc for a moment, what he's bringing, because I grew up on HUR as well, and I'm talking about Melvin Lindsay, you know what I mean?
Yes.
This is the old school.
The original Quiet Storm.
Right, yeah. I think that Marc brings a really fresh voice to it. We're in that age now, that whole, it's overused probably, but the grown and the sexy. Well, he brings the funny too, and
so
that's
brings
something.
The grown, sexy, and
the funny,
right.
and the real. We have 3 kids. We're just like everybody else, just trying to figure out how to do all this.
Yeah.
And so I don't. That's what I don't remember growing up, because everybody seems so perfect,
and that's the perspective that, as on-air personality or what we do, that's what we have to bring. So we have to bring that to people
need that.
Yes.
Yeah.
They need that.
Yes, I agree.
So.
Allison Seymour from Fox 5 News and Marc Clarke, XM Sirius Radio and WHUR. Look, I've got them both here, the power couple of Washington, D.C. and broadcasting.